If there are two words you have to use to describe Brandon Moreno, it is battle tested. Ever since his war with Davison Figueroa, he's been in some absolute dogfights back to back, and this definitely did put some wear and tear on his body. But after taking a little time off, he has looked sharp. One thing about Moreno is the fact that he only loses to the absolute best. We're talking about Pantoja, Figueroa, and of course, Brandon Royval, who has definitely been improving. That's it. When he faces top tier competition, he either wins or gives his all. But of course, the fight against Royval was the one where it was kind of lackluster and it wasn't the same Moreno we were used to seeing. Of course, there was a narrative and a legit question to ask, okay, is Moreno in his washed era? But then his performance against Albazi was just impressive. Style-wise, Moreno is the most well-rounded flyweight in my opinion. His boxing is crisp. He has a great jab, beautiful combinations, and he's willing to trade in the pocket. But his real edge comes from his grappling. He's slick with scrambles, has a dangerous back take, and his submission game is always a threat. Steve Erceg, on the other hand, came into the UFC with a lot of potential. He's tall for the division, fights behind a solid jab, and has good timing on his counters. But here's the thing. I really do feel like a lot of people overrate Steve Erceg, and I'm not saying he's not that good. I just feel like he's been given a lot of accolades without actually achieving it. Now, Erceg did have a competitive fight with Pantoja, but in my opinion, the judges got it right, and objectively, that is just fact. Pantoja won that fight. A lot of fans scored it for Erceg, but I feel like that's just because they wanted Erceg to win that fight. And then I was probably one of the only few people who picked Kai Kara-France to defeat Erceg. And I actually knew he was just going to knock him out. Because when you look at Kai Kara-France's record, you cannot even compare it to anything that Steve Erceg has done. And just like Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara-France has only lost to the elites of the elite. So I'm not sure why a lot of people discounted him in that matchup. Now, Erceg's biggest strength is his technical striking. He's patient, he picks his shots well, and has sneaky power, but he is hittable. And against elite guys, like I said, his defense hasn't really held up, honestly. Now, his grappling is solid, especially when it comes to the defense, but he's not a dominant wrestler in any manner, and that could be the issue against someone like Moreno. By the way, guys, if you're in this part of the video, I really appreciate if you hit that like button. It really helps me a lot. And when it comes to breaking down their fight style, Brandon Moreno is a high-paced, well-rounded fighter, like I mentioned, and he does have the mix of the crisp boxing, relentless pressure, and solid grappling. His striking is built around a sharp jab, fluid combinations, excellent head movement. He has an iron chin. That is something you do have to take account of, which allows him to trade in the pocket with confidence. Now, of course, like I said, he's had a lot of wear and tear, but it's not like he's entered the era where he just gets finished easily. Overall, Moreno's style is based on durability, volume striking, and opportunistic grappling, making him a tough matchup for anyone in the flyweight division. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if we're actually comparing Moreno's skill set to Steve Erceg, honestly speaking, I feel like he's not even comparable. I just feel like Steve Erceg is not really well-rounded, and honestly speaking, he hasn't been in the UFC that long to even compare them. Steve Erceg started fighting in the UFC in 2023, and we mainly know him for his hands. He does have something in those hands. He can knock you out at any time. He's shown that several times, which is why a lot of people put a lot of potential in him. And even when he doesn't knock you out, he does sting. So receiving a lot of damage from Steve Erceg is not something I would advise, even though Moreno does have that chin. Erceg has the technical boxing. He knows how to keep his distance. He has straight jabs that are very technical and for the most part always land. He does have hooks here and there, and he's very good in the clinch, but his main factor when it comes to the grappling is the fact that he is more defensive I don't think he has any offense when it comes to his grappling. So now we've detailed their fight style, skill for skill. How does this play out? That's the ultimate question, right? Well, Moreno is the better overall fighter. I cannot say this enough. He's got the edge in experience, durability, and grappling. Erceg might have a slight advantage in striking accuracy, but he doesn't have the pop or volume to put Moreno away, especially from what we've seen from Moreno in the past. Now, Moreno also has the kind of pressure to output and make Erceg uncomfortable. I do see Moreno pushing the pace, landing the cleanest shots, and mixing in his grappling. Erceg would have his moments for sure, no doubt, and I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance to win this fight. But if he doesn't stop the fight early, if he doesn't get an early finish, it's going to be a long night for him in my opinion. As the fight goes on, Moreno's experience and cardio will make the difference. And I think it's obvious where I'm going to when it comes to the prediction of this fight. I do think, and I'm quite confident that Brandon Moreno will definitely pull this off. Like I said, the experience is not comparable. The skill set is not comparable, except when it comes to the accuracy of the striking and the durability as well. Those are just three major factors that I cannot objectively say I think Steve Erceg would win this fight, unless I just believe in him, which is a fine thing. You know, if you want to make a vibes pick, that is absolutely fine and allowed. But I do think Brandon Moreno is going to take this fight. He's going to show that he's levels above Steve Erceg. And the path to victory is the durability, the volume, and the championship experience. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you guys think I'm exaggerating Moreno's experience compared to Erceg? Do you guys believe Erceg is underrated or rated or overrated? Let me know what you disagree with in the comments. And don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.